J-Cross primitive bow, and this is a CTA traditional arrow. Hi, my name is Jesse Cox with J-Cross Archery, and today I would like to show everybody how to build a basic bamboo back longbow from one of our kits. As you can see here, J-Cross Archery's bamboo kit comes with a tillering stick, a pre-tapered hickory bow stave, and a heat-tempered plain bamboo backing strip. When building our bow kits, the first step is to laminate the bamboo backing to the bow stave. A few items you may need are rubbing alcohol, a box cutter, some bow laminating epoxy, and clamps. Next, we use the rubbing alcohol to clean the surfaces of both the bamboo backing and the bow stave to ensure proper adhesion. Next, we use a box cutter or knife to scathe the surface of the bamboo backing and the stave to allow for deeper glue penetration. After preparation of the bamboo backing and the stave, next you begin gluing. Now to do this, you're going to want to find an area that you can get extremely dirty, because you're going to need to cover every inch of the back of the stave and the belly side of the bamboo with this epoxy. Next is clamping the bow. When clamping the bow, remember to clamp from the innermost part of the bow and work your way to the outermost part of the limbs. This allows for easy application and prevents bubbles from building beneath the bamboo, which may cause a break later on down the road. The next step after laminating the bamboo onto the back of the bow stave is to begin shaping the limbs. First, we start with finding the center of the limb, which with our staves are usually at about 1.5 inches. So we mark 3/4, and then we mark the tips at about 1/2 inch. Next, I measure down as a personal preference about 23 inches. From that 23-inch mark to the outer part of the 1/2 inch of the tip, I draw a line tapering it to make a pyramid design longbow. When you're finished drawing on the limbs, it should look something like this. Today I'm using a 14-inch bandsaw to cut out the limbs. After cutting out the limbs, the next step is putting in the string grooves. First, we begin by marking the wood where the string grooves need to lie. I typically go down about 1/2 inch for the start of the string groove, and then I mark it at a 45-degree angle. Then I flip it over and I do the same to the other side. Once this step is complete, you move on to the other limb. When cutting the string grooves, the best tool to use is a Dremel tool. However, if you're inexperienced with using a Dremel tool, I suggest using a chainsaw file that you can pick up at your local hardware store for only a few bucks. You begin by running the file along the line that you just placed into the material until you reach your preferred depth. I'm just breaking the edges here so that way the string doesn't get worn out by the sharp edges. But after you're done completing the string grooves, the next step is to string it and go ahead and start tillering. The first step in tillering our floor tiller staves is breaking in the fibers. The reason we break in the fibers is to make sure that all the stiff areas in the limb are visible. I usually pull down to about 18 inches, 17, 18 inches, about 10 times. The next step when tillering the bow is to locking the bow into place just where you start to see the limbs curve. It's important not to pull the bow back to its full potential because the fibers may not be broken and the bow may break. At this point, we're going to begin looking for hinges and stiff areas. Hinges are where the bow bends too much, and stiff areas is where it bends not enough. For example, on this side of the limb, from here to here, it's a little stiffer than on this side, thus allowing this side of the limb to bend more. We need to remove wood here so that there is an even bend on both limbs. When removing wood from the stiff area, the best tool to use is a hand rasp or a draw knife. First, we start by taking off the edge because that removes the most amount of wood and the least amount of time. Once you work out all the hinges and stiff areas and you get the limbs to bend at an even tiller, the next step is just keep removing wood evenly on both limbs to your desired draw weight. 55 at 28. Once you've finished tillering the bow and brought it to the desired draw weight, and there are no hinges or stiff areas, the rest is just finish work. Once you've finished your bow, you've actually completed building a bow for about $100 with traditional appeal and excellent ability.